much discretion should you give to your trustee? Hi, my name is Lynn St. Louis, and I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney. We serve clients in Washington and Idaho, and I'm the founder of ELG Estate Planning. So when it comes to your trustee and your trustee's duties and what they're supposed to do, that is a very big subject. So I'll try to break it down, but do know that there are a lot of things that I can't cover. There's going to be tax ramifications depending on what the standard is, tax ramifications depending on whether it's a first-party trust or a third-party trust, and I'm sure I'm losing you at this point. So let's put all of that aside and just talk about what a trustee's job is and how are they supposed to make decisions. So think of it this way. There is the ability to say to your trustee, you have full discretion to do everything, and I'll come back to that. Or you may say to your trustee, and when I say you say, it's according to what the terms of the trust include, that you have to follow a standards approach, which is either considered ascertainable standards, and that has to do with something called HEMS or mesh standards. What does that mean? That means health, education, maintenance, and support. So when the trust uses that type of language, then the trustee is supposed to make distributions according to the beneficiary's needs based on what their health is. Do they need help with education? For example, an education trust. Maintenance, that means their food, their housing, and support means the same thing. So when a trustee is under the HEMS standards, they must make distributions according to what the needs of the beneficiary are. Now contrast that when a trustee is given discretion. Now when a trustee is giving discretion, they actually do not need to make any distributions at all. No distributions for health, education, maintenance, and support. And you might say, well, that's silly. Why would the trustee not be required to make distributions? Well, what that comes down to is what was the purpose of this trust? So when you are giving support standards to a trustee, you're typically looking at supporting, for example, a child or a grandchild or somebody who will need support in their life. Whereas if you are giving discretionary, what we're thinking about is we want to make sure that the beneficiary has the ability to utilize needs-based government benefits. So a supplemental needs trust or a special needs trust, which is the type of trust that you use when you want to use government benefits like Medicaid long-term care, that will be a discretionary standard trust. So there are so many different situations, and it's really very, very difficult to explain all of those different situations and which is the right type of standard for your trustee. So kind of to come back and summarize, what I want you to remember is if the trustee is under a support type standard, that those assets in that trust are going to be considered countable for any government benefit purpose, whereas if it is a discretionary standard and the trustee does not have to make distributions to the beneficiary, then the state will not count that asset as being the beneficiary, so the beneficiary then will qualify for government benefits. So that's an oversimplification and overgeneralization. This is not intended for you to take this as your legal advice. What I encourage you to do, if you have these questions, is reach out to an attorney, an estate planning and elder law attorney, to help answer your specific questions.